This meeting is being recorded.
Rob Kendall, along with Tyler Bless, the head coach of the Plainfield Quakers. Coach, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Doing just great. All right, so let's start back on Friday. Obviously, it didn't go exactly the way we would have liked, and let's start with not one but two onside kickoffs. A little bit unusual for high school football, and sometimes the ball just doesn't bounce your way.
Yeah, I'm got to give a lot of credit to Whiteland and their coaches and their players for executing their game plan, and the onside kick to start the game was something that certainly was a bit surprising for us. Would have liked to see us kind of respond in a better way of attacking the ball and being the aggressor, but that's football and we've got to play, and it just probably from the very beginning just kind of felt odd, felt weird, and we battled and we had some chances and didn't capitalize on offense enough when we got inside the red zone, and then we put our defense in terrible positions and had them on the field for 68 defensive snaps to our 39 offensive snaps. So that's not complimentary football. It's not the football we wanted to play. You got to give a lot of credit again to Whiteland and their coaches and their players. They executed the plan that they wanted to and played to their hand, and unfortunately, we just didn't get it going on either side, and some of that is football, and some of that is just I'm not sure if bad luck or just a bad night of football, but certainly disappointing and something we're going to try to learn from and move forward and get ready for another opportunity this week versus Martinsville.
Yeah, obviously, it's pretty rare to see an onside kick in high school football anytime other than maybe an end of the game, but to see it right out of the gate and then obviously see it again later on in the ball game. How do you prepare for something like that, or is it something you can prepare for?
I mean, they've always been aggressive on special teams. When we played them last year, they had a different kicker. I think this guy that played on Friday is a newcomer for them, but they've always done some sky kicks, some pooch kicks, just trying to find some weaknesses in teams' kickoff return units. So that's not something that we were surprised about in terms of them being aggressive. It's just we didn't attack the football. I mean, the ball's on the ground and we just stared at it. So that's on us as coaches to not prepare our kids for those situations in practices, and then that's kind of on our kids for not going out and attacking the football. So learnable mistake for coaches and players in our program, but certainly something that you're allowed to do. It's football, and they can do it anytime that they want. And obviously they proved that on Friday night, and we were not ready and we did not capitalize on it.
When you look at a game like that, and I know it's hard to find positives when you lose, you want to win. But if your team is able to make a play in the postseason, if you're able to spot something that maybe allows you to recover an onside kick in the sectionals, then you look back on it and say, well, it was terrible to lose that game, but maybe it's worth it because we win a game. Otherwise, maybe we don't want to prevent a mistake that we otherwise would have made.
Yeah, I think you learn a lot from every win and every loss you have. I mean, maybe the wins are covered up on some of the excitement and just, hey, we won, great. It's a great feeling. Maybe those mistakes kind of get maybe hidden in some of those pages. But, when you lose the game, you look at it through like a fine tooth comb and trying to say like, what really happened? Because I personally thought we had a really good week of practice. I thought our kids had a good pregame. I thought they had a great mindset, and, we didn't respond the way I felt like we could have. So, again, you got to give kudos to Whiteland, but also it's a challenge for our team this week going into fall break to kind of decide on what we want to make out of it. If we want it to be an advantage or a disadvantage that we won't be in school. So it's just another opportunity though for us to coach our kids and to have another chance to go 1-0 on Friday night.
Yeah, and obviously it's kind of like everything you guys had done well throughout the year. It just seemed like not to be working on Friday. You think about Starnes fumbling at the 1-yard line. If he scores, It's a tie ball game. You guys may even have the lead. So it just seemed like one of those nights where you just said, hey, there's going to be days like this, and today is not our day.
Some of that, yeah. I mean, I was more, kicking myself. There's some chances in the red zone that I'd love to have back, and some opportunities that I felt like I kind of didn't handle very well. But that's, from a coach's side and a play caller side, you gotta evaluate yourself, and you gotta kind of be hard on yourself and ask some questions within your staff of what we could have done better. But I thought when on offense, offensively, when we did get drives established, we were in rhythms. We were doing well. We were converting on third down. Obviously, we got a score in this. I think it ended up being the second quarter with Caden Vanderbush, and then had another opportunity down there right before halftime, and kind of stubbed our toe and botched a snap on or had a bad snap on a field goal attempt that didn't make it through. So those are some opportunities where like we were close, we were there, we just couldn't get through the door. And then you've got in a game like that where you don't have a whole lot of possessions and drives, you've got to make sure that every one of those counts and every one of those either ends in 3 points or 6 or 7 or 8 points. And unfortunately, we were only able to get 8 on Friday night, and that's obviously disappointing.
I've always thought football coach is one of the toughest sports to coach because you only get one game a week, right? So like my job, if I don't do something well, the next day, hey, I can go back and do it again and fix it. Your job, you got a whole week to think about it. And while it's great when you win, right, it's probably kind of a torture week when you spend the week thinking about some of the things you're talking about.
Yeah, yes, you're right. I mean, but the way that I'm trying to, and I think the way that we're going to attack it with our coaching staff and our players this week is like, we're playing for a championship this week. Like we, as much as it sucks to lose, and I don't like losing to anyone, and especially a team like Whiteland, who's gotten, kind of been very successful in our conference for so long. Like that's a game that we want to. Obviously, we want to win. We didn't come out on the right end of it, but like we've got to be hard on ourselves on Saturday. We got to kind of suck it up Saturday afternoon, and by today, like we got to get ready for Martinsville. And when our kids come in tomorrow for a lift at 10 a.m., like the talk is Martinsville and championship football. So we get a chance to play for a championship in this program for the first time, I think, in 2010. So that's an exciting thing. That's a positive thing. That's something that we need to talk about. That needs something to that our school and our community needs to rally behind. And I'm going to be very excited about it. And I already am excited about it, but certainly have to look back on the Whiteland and say, okay, where can we be better? Where do we not perform at our best, and move on in the correct direction?
Part of what you do is you mold people, right? Not just football players. You mold people. You make them better members of society, et cetera. How do you learn how to deal with losing, or teach the kids how to deal with losing? It's not the way it was when I was a kid where, hey, the coach is going to give you guys a lecture and you better not do that next week, or there's going to be heck to pay. It's different now. The way society deals with things, the way the expectations of how you deal with things. How do you learn, especially as like a first-year head coach, on how you're going to approach losing?
What I told our team on Friday that I still think it's true. Like I didn't do a good enough job throughout the week to get them ready to play in all 3 phases of the game. Obviously, offensively, I'm the offensive coordinator, and I trust our defensive coaches and the defensive staff on what we're doing. But I took the blame in terms of not getting them ready for all 3 phases and the moments of when adversity hits. These are the things that we need to do. These are the things that we need to establish. So you learn to take some obviously you take responsibility. I'm the head football coach of the football program. So like if there's a loss, 99% of the time it's going to be on me, whether or not people think that or not. I mean, that's just what I signed up for. So you've got to kind of maybe massage it in terms of how you want to talk to the players. Like, would I love to scream and yell and say, why'd you do this? Well, yeah, but like that's self-gratification for maybe 30 seconds. And then afterwards, I'm going to feel like crap because I'm going to have to apologize to, a kid or a coach or somebody for just chewing them out. Like, I don't want to do that. And that's not going to maybe get the point across. So like, we just got to talk to our kids like they're grown men or like they're young men and say, hey, this is where we need to be better. This is an opportunity where we weren't at our best. We need to take the coaching. We need to, take the criticism in a way that's in a positive way, and let's just be better. Let's find a way to if we're in this situation again, we can execute it and be in our favor. We have a lot of young men in our football program who have played a lot of football for us. So that's a positive thing. So we can always go back and say like, hey, you've played meaningful snaps for us. This is where you've been really good at. This is where you excelled. Okay, this is a part in the game where like we need you to do this right here. just to put our team, our defense, our offense, our special teams in a better situation. I mean, the days of football coaches, screaming and yelling and just get on the line and run, those are probably long gone. I mean, that's just not how it's. If it is, it's not in this program. We're going to try to treat kids with respect and say, hey, we're going to hold you accountable, but also we're going to hold ourselves accountable as coaches and take blame because we're the ones coaching you. So I think my point was across after talking to our varsity players yesterday, and they obviously know the importance of going into this week with Martinsville.
All right, let's thank our sponsors who have made our broadcast possible all year long this year. CJ's Pizza, Whitlow's Towing, Ganell Financial, Remax Centerstone, Julia Burbridge, Midwest Pizza, BGW Construction, Porter Hair Design, Holly Porter, My IT Indy, I-70 Wrecker Service and Garage, Ellison Associates, Remax, Chipotle, and Double D Barbecue. All right, Coach, as you said, even though it was a loss, it's still a chance to take home the conference championship on Friday night with a win at home against Martinsville. What do the Artesians bring to the table?
Yeah, they're 5-3 overall. They're 4-2 in the Mid-State Conference. They won a kind of a wild one Friday night at home versus Mooresville, but they're doing a really good job. I mean, Brian Duggar's, I think, in his 4th or 5th year there, and it always has his team ready to go. They're always an offensive unit that seems to always have a solid quarterback and solid wide receivers, and then a really tough running back. So they're probably running the ball more this year than in years past. But those kids play extremely hard. Their defense is well coached. They're going to give us different looks, whether it's a front or coverage, and they're going to come in here and they're going to be just as excited as we are because it's a four-way race for the Mid-State Conference between us and Martinsville, and then Franklin and Decatur Central play each other. So the winner of those two games will share the conference and be the conference champs. So they're very well coached. They're a very good team. They've kind of made a run here the last couple of weeks of getting some wins under their belts, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
You should talk with Coach Woodard about this all the time, which is obviously, sectionals is coming up. It's right around the corner. The draw will be tonight as we're putting this show together. Yep. When do you start thinking about that? Obviously, you're playing for a conference championship on Friday, but when do you start kind of looking at who you're going to draw tonight?
I mean, we will obviously know tonight, and then we kind of, maybe trade some film today, tomorrow, maybe by Tuesday. And with 5A and 6A, I know we're not a 6A school, but with 5A and 6A, you get a first round bye. So we're going to play the game on Friday versus Martinsville, and then we're going to have a week, not necessarily, we'll have a week off of not having a game, but we'll practice. We'll have some days off for our players, but the game plan will already be in for that sectional opponent during that bye week, so we can kind of introduce that to them later in the week, and then give them some time off throughout the weekend. But we'll probably mention it tomorrow in meetings and say, hey, this is what's coming up. It's not the most important thing this week because Martinsville is, but here's who we have, and here's the draw, and here's the lineup, and kind of have a brief conversation, and then put it on the back burner for a couple of days, and then worry about that when we need to.
Our plan is to have a coaches show next week. So we'll kind of put a wrap on the regular season. We'll preview the first round of the sectionals. And then obviously we plan on doing, what would there be, 4 or 5 more coaches shows all the way through the state finals. So that'll be our plan. In the meantime, and I know this is like a stupid question, but I'm a member of the media, so that's what I do. I ask stupid questions. Where on the echelon of things that are important to you does a conference championship stand?
It's our second goal as a team. I mean, our first goal is to win at home. Our second goal is to win the Mid-State Conference Championship. Our third goal is to play our very best football at the end of the season, which I don't even know what today's date. It's October 8th, so that's the end of the season, and we want to compete for championships. So we want to do something that hasn't been done since 2010. We have an opportunity to do that. So it is – I mean, that's not a stupid question, Rob, but it's very important to us.
Because, some guys will say, well, we should win this every single year. It doesn't mean anything. But I had a feeling it'd be pretty high up on your list.
Yeah, it's up there. I mean, and I'm very proud of our football players and our coaches and our parents and community for being in the situation we're in. And I don't think it's by surprise. I don't think this is a fluke season. I don't think it's, a one hit wonder. I mean, this is where we want the standard of Plainfield football to be, and this is what we want it to be year in and year out. So, and are we fortunate and blessed that it's year one of me being a head football coach? Sure, but I mean, the kids have been in here longer than I have, and it goes to them because of the work that they put in, and I'm just fortunate enough to be the leader of the program to hopefully, accomplish that goal of ours.
All right, get you out here as we always do. Someone or someone's plural behind the scenes at Plainfield football doesn't always get a lot of credit, but makes things work in a great way. Yeah,
I kind of have turned this into like personal or like people shout outs. So like this is a little bit different, but like our 7th grade football team went undefeated this year. They went 8-0. They won the Mid-State Conference Championship. They are coached by Joe Gach, Stacy Peters, and Steve Miller. And then our 8th grade football team went back-to-back undefeated seasons and back-to-back Mid-State Conference champs. So they're coached by Mike Harper, Dustin Stewart, and Bob Young. I almost forgot one. But that is super, super important because obviously the kids are playing football. They're winning. Winning is fun. They're finding ways to win as a group. And we'll be very excited when we get these young men into our program as freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So congratulations to our 7th and 8th grade football teams for an undefeated season and a Mid-State Conference Championship. And best of luck to those kids that go into winter sport. And we'll be reaching out to you guys soon about coming to our winter workouts here in December and January.
Yeah, and I was just curious because your dad was great at this at Avon, and obviously I didn't cover him a whole lot at Mooresville, but that feeder system fed into exactly what he wanted to do. They ran the offenses he wanted them to run. So by the time they got to him as a varsity football coach, or in this case freshman or JV or whatever, they were already intricately familiar with what he wanted them to do. And I'm sure you're trying to do the same thing with Plainfield.
Yeah, I mean, to add to the shout outs, our junior league, they're in all-star teams now, but our 2nd grade, our 3rd grade, our 4th grade, and our 5th grade all had games, I believe, on Wednesday and Thursday night at Decatur Central, and they all won those games. So our youth league's off to a great start in tournament play. Obviously, our middle school had a great season, and we're excited about it. So, we're trying to build this thing as a football program, not just a 9th through 12th football program. It's important to me. It's important to our youth coaches, our middle school coaches, and obviously our high school coaches. So it's exciting to be a Plainfield football player, regardless of your age, and we're excited to have you eventually be into our program here in the next following years.
All right, Coach. Well, let's get a big win on Friday. Let's get a share of the conference championship, and then we'll look forward to talking to you on Monday about round 1 of sectional action.
Okay, sounds good. Have a great week.